Well, here in Lagos, we bring you a heartbreaking update on the three brothers who had been missing for a week after a building said to be associated with Great Nigeria Insurance collapsed due to a fire. We're now learning that the three brothers, Steve Omatu, Kenechukwu Omatu, and Kashmir Omatu, who were trapped in the building, have died, despite pleas from their family and associates for the state government to rescue them from the building's rubble. The fire had begun on the building's 4th floor before gradually spreading across the building located in Balogun Market. In a post on social media, their sister stated that the brothers' decision to thoroughly collect all their belongings from their shop when the fire broke out is what ultimately led to their demise. Well, may their souls rest in peace, Ayom. And this comes as the Lagos State government on Tuesday ordered all residents and businesses around the building to leave the area immediately, stating that experts warned against the danger to lives within 100 meters radius of the site. Meanwhile, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is expected to revisit the scene of the building collapse today, while the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency also opened a help desk to the site to address concerns over people reportedly missing after the fire. This is such a sad incident, Ayo. We did take this story and we saw that the Lagos State Governor actually went there to visit, but we saw that it took a week, more than a week, before we heard the story about these boys dying.
It's sad. I wish we were coming back to report a better story around the three boys. To lose 3 sons from one family is beyond disastrous. I cannot imagine the grief that they're going through, as well as the grief that many families who had family members in the GNI building are going through currently. A number of things have come out. Yes, people have praised the efforts of the Lagos State Governor and the Lagos State Emergency Response LASEMA agency. However, I see a few things that we're not yet getting right when it comes to public safety, health and safety, general health and safety, and emergency response. I say this because Balogun Market is notorious for fires, and disasters can happen in places like this. It is what we do, number one, how to prevent them from happening, and number two, when eventualities like this happen, what we can do to minimize casualties. That's where we should now begin to focus, and hopefully, not just Lagos State, but across Nigeria, we can take lessons from, so that we don't have the extent of this disaster. Number one is that people who are in buildings like this, it was a 25-story building, ought to understand fire drills and what to do in the event of an emergency. That the boys went back to get their belongings. Usually what you're told is that when a fire happens, leave the building, leave everything and just run out to save your life. And so maybe, when you think of the amount of money they would have imagined would be lost, they wanted to save. This is just a message out there. Where you have an emergency, your life is number one first. Please save your life. Number two is that there should be exit points, fire exit points in cases of emergencies for buildings, public buildings, or generally buildings around Nigeria. I'm not sure to what extent that is enforced. There should be a risk register and risk management procedure that everybody that occupies the building should be aware of. The other thing with emergency rescue was that some people said that the people who came to evacuate or rescue people were very lackadaisical in their attitude. There was no sense of urgency. And so that's another thing, to an attitudinal, behavioral change that we need to look at when it comes to human life, sanctity of human life in Nigeria, and also responding to emergency situations. Beyond that as well would then be, when it comes to public buildings like that, to ensure that once a building it gets to that point, the fire drill happens, it's cordoned so that we minimize effect on other buildings, and that we get information on time. Again, our condolences. It's a very sad story, and I'm hoping that I hear that there's still some bodies being, in fact, they said that it was ashes they buried. They didn't have, murdered. Let them be able to give their families the honor of burying, through DNA testing of some of these, remaining parts. But very sad story. Condolences to the governor, condolences to the family members who have lost their loved ones.
You are calling for enforcement of safety and building
Yes.
codes.
All right.
That's how to put
Condolences
it.
to the governor and the family members that lost three brothers at this moment. It's a really sad situation. But I want to say that the Lagos State government has urged people that are in that area, I want to reiterate that point, that they should leave because the building is at risk of collapse at this moment. So those, yes, ordering the demolition. So please, people around there have to leave at this moment. Our hearts goes out to these families, these young boys that have just died needlessly. May their souls rest in peace.